people? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm doing something a little different. I've got 3 days of diving all crammed into one video, and I think the first day I dove was on the 27th of February, the next day was on the 3rd of March, and then the last day was on the 5th of March. So, pretty close together, but spaced out by a few days, and I'm just going to talk about kind of what I saw in each dive, what I took from the previous dive, and tried to, learn from that and progress. I'm just doing my quick swim out here to the first spot. This was the sunset dive. We had like an hour and a half to dive, so it's just going to be a short little segment. Taking my first drop here, I saw a towel go into the back of one of these caves, so I'm just staying at the front. And I was hoping maybe he would come out and give me a little peeksies, but he was gone. These towel know what's up. They know they're tasty. And as I was swimming out to my next spot, I saw this little school of kumu cruising around. These guys are too small to shoot, but really cool to see, and glad to see them around. I don't see kumu a lot, and I kind of feel bad shooting them, so happy to just take the chance to watch these guys and appreciate how cool they look. And they were super friendly too. But as I'm checking these guys out, throwing some love, out of the corner of my eye, I spot another tasty invasive cruise behind this rock. And so I load up the 3-prong and try to creepy crawl over there. But he is long gone. The towal around here know not to stick around. Alrighty, this is a few dives later, and I finally found a decent school of fish. Some palanis, some kalas cruising around, and I'm gonna tell you people, I am rusty with this 3-prong. I haven't used it in a hot second, and you guys are gonna see me miss a lot of fish in this video. But I'm just trying to be patient. Wait, I think one of the main problems with my 3-prong game was I didn't have the grip strength to hold the 3-prong for as long as I needed. And so I'm waiting. Finally, this Lonnie comes in. I hit him, but I hold on to the end of the 3-prong like I'm hitting a pachi or a kole, and he just tears right off. I come down again, and here is some more mistakes I make with the 3-prong. Not used to having it. It's a big 8-foot 3-prong, and so I'm landing this spot, which is a good hiding spot, but as you can see, it's not a good hiding spot if you're holding an 8-foot pole directly behind you. There's this big rock right behind me, so I'm kind of crammed in and forced to shoot at this one angle, which is straight in front of me. And I'm just kind of uncomfortable and not really thinking about shooting anything right now. Just trying to fix my mental state, get relaxed again, and calm down. So I decide, let's head up and just take another drop. I come down in this spot with a much better backdrop behind me. It's nothing behind me. I can hide behind this little ledge right in front of me. Much better spot. And as soon as I get to the bottom, I see this big moo. And I'll zoom into him right here. And surprisingly enough, he comes right into me and gives me the perfect shot if I had my spear gun. It's always the days that you bring just the 3-prong or the small gun that you see the big fish. It's just how fishing and how spearfishing works. And I was hoping maybe he would come back in give me another look on the other side of that rock, but he was out of there, so I turn my attentions back straight forward to see if there's anything good sitting in front of me, and there definitely is. There's some kalas cruising around, but there's a couple small ones kind of right in the front, and the big one that I want to shoot is right behind these guys. And as they come through, there's just too many fish. I can't get a clear shot, and I don't want to do what I just did with that Palani, where I hit him bad, or I just don't stone him and they tear off. So, no fish on this dive, and this is actually my last dive of the day. I told you, super short little dive, right at sunset. But I come down here, looking at this little tasty invasive, and he actually didn't disappear the second I duck dove, so I'm hoping he will come in and give me a shot. But I'm super out of practice with the 3-prong, and my grip strength is nowhere near what it used to be, so I'm having troubles holding it for as long as I would want to. I think if I would have held out for a little bit longer, he would have given me a better shot. But you'll see, I get a little impatient right here, try to make a lunge, and of course, whiff. But that's okay, no fish on day 1. We back out here, day 2. Quick suit up, and this is a completely new spot that I'm diving this day. I've never dove here before, so I'm gonna go explore some new grounds. And while I was swimming out, I saw this guy, really cool sea slug looking thing. If anybody knows what it is, please let me know. And another cool find, this big ol' honu just chilling in like 4 feet of water. And as I come to the reef drop off, there's another honu just chilling, posted up, enjoying the views. But first drop, another invasive, another miss. There were a lot of invasives over here at this new spot, so I was really trying to focus on them, take a few off the reef, and just practice my aim, because boy oh boy, do I need to practice my aim. It's bad, I know. But I get it dialed in a little bit later on in this video. So I was coming down on this dive, and check out this white tip with a big ol' Alua hook hanging out of his mouth. And of course, the next dive I take, forget my camera's not turned on, and I finally hit one. And of course, with any fish I get, brain and bleed. Looking forward to munching on this guy later. But another dive, trying to dive bomb this invasive Roy. And I think I'm about to smash him right here, but he gives me the super juke, and then cruises back and disappears into a crack in the reef to never be seen again. So, me over like 4, Roy 1, Tape 2, actually no, Tape 3, but we keep trying. Another drop, I come down, look up, and sure enough, there's another school of moo looking right at me. Now, they're not quite as big as the first day of diving, the one I saw come into me, but they're definitely shooters, and the second I start scratching and make a little commotion, they start heading towards me. And yet again, I am regretting not having my spear gun. I really wanted to focus on just getting better at the 3-prong, especially after that first dive I took with it. But that's really hard when there are moo right in front of your face. And of course, those guys are just sitting right in gun range, but that's okay. Just gotta get a longer breath hold and get a little better aim, maybe one day, but not today. And so I finally decide I need to set my sights a little lower and expectations a little lower and just pop some fry fish. So I focus on these cole here, kind of grouped up around this rock. And there are a lot of small ones mixed in the school, but there are a couple big ones that I can see cruising around, and I'm just waiting for one of them to pop out and give me a shot. Another thing I tried changing up from the last dive I took was the position of the band on my hand while I'm shooting and holding 3-prong. You see right there, it's kind of like higher up, right near the first knuckle on my hand, and it seemed like that worked a little bit better in some situations for holding the spear and just kind of a little bit more control, but then other times it seemed like it wasn't the right place to hold it. So please let me know how you guys do it in the comments below. But another drop here, looking for some more coal, and still very rusty. Another miss. But that's the thing with 3-prong. You don't even have to go up for air, just reload and keep on hunting. So I'm waiting, looking around, seeing if I see any big ones, and I see a big one come in. I decide to take a long shot and manage to stick him. So definitely feeling a little bit better, but I still got a lot of work to do with this 3-prong. I decide one more cole will do me good for a little fish fry. And how are the whales just screaming at each other in the background? Super cool to hear. Wonder what they're saying. But get up, brain the fish, and put him on the cooey, and take one more drop over in the moose spot to just see if a miracle could happen. Definitely a lot of life in this spot over here. Got all the baby moose cruising off to my left there. Vecas all around. A few small goats here and there. But nothing is really wanting to give me the time of day. Take one last look. See a little Joe cruise in, but he's not interested in me either, so decide to head up. And of course, there, the bigger moo, lurking a little bit farther away, but still just checking me out. And as I was swimming back in, the school of lie comes in to check me out. And there's a couple big ones in there, so I load it up, take a little drop, and miss again. That was like the easiest shot of my life, it felt like, but apparently not. I try to load them up and do one more, but they are out of there, so back to the shallows to clean up my fish. I'm gonna just gill and gut and scale, do all that stuff in the water. It makes the cleanup at home much, much faster and easier. Once they're home, straight to the fryer, and straight on to day 3. Now this was another just short kind of dive. We had, I think, 2 hours before sunset, so I'm not going to go back to that new spot. I'm just going to go to a spot I know, and if you can't tell by the swim out already, it is pretty rough, pretty murky. So I'm just going to go back to the spot I dove in the first video. It's a spot I know pretty well, so diving it in murk is a lot more comfortable for me. And obviously you see I'm rocking the gun today. That is because I am completely out of fish, and I can't be messing around with the 3-prong anymore. I need some meat, We got some real windy days coming up ahead, so I need to put some fish in the fridge before I can't dive for the next, like, week and a half. So that means taking the gun out, and today I'm just looking to shoot anything that comes in, anything of pretty decent size that I can get some decent fillets off of. So I see some kalas cruising around in the background. I'll take one of those home for sure. But not too much of anything else on this dive, so this was just my first little warm-up dive. Next drop here, down here, looking into the murky abyss, really just looking for anything to come in, but of course, in the back of my mind, this is the same spot that on the first dive of the video, I saw that big moo. He should still be in this area. I've seen them in this area before, but I've never gotten close enough to get a good shot with whatever weapon I'm holding at that time. So today I'm really thinking about it, and I look back over. You'll get a zoom in here, see flashes for a second, a little slow-mo, but I see that moo swimming around with those kalas. So I'm like, oh yeah, it's game time, baby. If he's around, there's got to be other moo around, so now I've switched into moo mode, which means longer dives, trying to sit still. So I take this next drop, just down here, grunting, looking to see if I can see anything. And then I see these little two pupils come zooming into me, but they're a little on the small side, so I decide to let them pass. But a whole lot of nothing. So head up and take the next drop, and this right here is the perfect hiding spot. I've got this big rock over to my left, and then this coral head on my right, and then that coral head out and to my left a little bit in front of me there. So I've got all kinds of cover, and as soon as I get down to the bottom, I see this school of moo kind of cruising in this crack, this one little shooting lane I've got. So I try to put my head down, do a little scratching, just stay real calm. And sure enough, they start coming right in. You can't really make it out on camera, but I can see them a lot better. And one comes and turns and gives me a broadside shot. And I take it. Do a little slow-mo for you. You can just see the shadow move in. And I shoot. And for a second, I didn't know if I had him on, because there wasn't really too much tension on the line. But sure enough, I pull a little bit, and I feel him pulling back. So I don't know how good the shot was. It was a pretty far shot, so I'm just babying him, being very careful, letting him run when he wants to. He's not going to get tangled up in anything. And so I slowly just reel him in towards me. He tries to escape, but he ain't going nowhere. Now that right there is one solid moo. I'll show you guys the official weight at the end of the video, but let's just say I'm stoked out of my mind right now. I mean, this is my second moo ever, so I can't even believe. It's gonna feel weird shooting a small one after this, or one smaller than this, I should say. But just gotta take it a second to admire the beauty of this fish. And boy, oh boy, are these guys tasty. So this is quite a few drops later. It is pretty much sunset now. I mean, the sun is just a little bit off the horizon, and I really did not see too much else. And any fish that I wanted to shoot just did not give me the time of day. So this is my last drop of the day, tucking up under this ledge, just a really good hiding spot, seeing if anything will come in and give me a little look. And then I see this Polani cruising around in the background, and I would definitely take him home. Kind of disappears behind those rocks there, and I'm just looking around, searching, trying to figure out where he went. And then I see him behind this rock over to my left here. I line up, and he gives me a shot. I take it, and it's a holding shot, but it was a little high, so he tears pretty bad, but still plenty of meat. I'm happy about that for sure. See, big old tear there. But gotta take one more second to admire the fish before we pause on this next clip here. So after I shot that last fish, I wrap the fish around my belt buoy. They're hanging off my left hip. I've got my gun in my left hand, and I start making the swim in as I would normally. And right when I get to the transition between deeper water and shallow reef, I feel something bump the back of my gun. I turn and I look behind me, and I see this thing's nose, which had just bumped the back of my gun. So I immediately turn around, click my GoPro on, and face him head on to see what he's going to do from there. And that's where this clip picks up, as I kind of chase him off after he just bumped me, and he's kind of just doing like a long loop around in front of me. And I'm just facing him, I give him a little charge there, and he doesn't even budge a bit. So I'm just trying to keep an eye on him, and I keep losing him for a second in the murk and then picking him back up, so it's really uneasy. It's not like I can just clearly see him. And he turns, comes into me for a little bit, and then turns off there. And I'm just continuing to scan, look. Here he comes right back in again, turns, and then I reach out and pull his tail as he swims off. And so now I'm just kind of swimming on my back, looking over my shoulder. And the second I clicked my GoPro off, this right here is where I click it back on, he turned and came straight in towards my feet with his mouth open like he was going to take my leg off. So I flip over on my stomach and jab my spear right into its mouth. And he kind of backs off, does a little shake of the head, turns, and kicks away. Luckily, I didn't see him again. I continue my swimming, kind of like this, just constantly looking over my shoulder. But if anybody knows what type of shark this is, please let me know. And just, yeah, that was definitely the most aggressive I've ever had a shark with me in the water. Normally, they're pretty puppy dog, like, you get a little aggressive towards them, they take off, and you never see them again. But I even hit this guy on the tail with my spear, and he still came back in to charge me. He either really wanted me, or really wanted the fish on my belt. Definitely very sketchy, and definitely gonna make me think a little bit more about sharks when I'm out there diving. Other than that, we got the official weight on this nice 6.6 pounder. I am very happy with the fish. Even if it almost cost me a leg, I would do it again, as crazy as that sounds. But I hope you guys enjoyed watching, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Peace out.